Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. Guess we're going to talk some about the bounty. A lot of people are hoping that the kickside bases show back up sometimes tomorrow or the next day. And we got a BP next week. I haven't mentioned it to him before, but I want to ask Derpy a couple questions about some of the things he saw on the VXP target, um, especially as it related to inverse priority targeting and whatnot. But let's get going. Lady Cat.
Hello. There goes the fight. I'm ready.
Okay. And Kenny
Hello, hello.
and Derpy.
Hello.
And so is your cow wearing a mask or is that some sort of
It's been wearing a mask for a couple of days now. I'm trying to promote positive mask use.
Very good. And KB.
Good morning, good morning.
So
Yeah, that needs to be a prize. Jigsaw needs to make a Battle Pirates mask for us all that we can win instead of a hat.
Yeah, it'll be about 500,000 points.
well, they did do the hat, and what you had to be a top 10 of, or some event you had to be the top 10 in. So I forget which one that was, but let's move ahead. We don't need to do bug fixes again. All right, we're in Bounty 31 right now. Next week we have the Spring Reckoning special event. We're gonna have a little bit more information on that. Not much, in BP next week, and we'll have the April CM diary. We talked about this on Wednesday. I think you all were there, except for KB. Any thoughts on? Yeah, let's move on. One more click. All right. Yesterday there was a release of the PVE calendar. This one has some differences from the one in the forum. At least last I looked at it a half hour ago. I did some research, changed some things. From what I can tell, this is a little bit more accurate. So if you notice differences, it's because I did some research on it. The following week, we're going to have Pillage. And we're going to have a change from the Pegasus being the alternate hall to the Riot. I didn't really mind the Pegasus target in the Pillage, but I didn't really like the Pegasus. Any thoughts on Pillage next week? Anybody?
Just looking forward to a change.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit quicker to do with the riots.
Yeah. And I'm hoping for 10 more of the limited scatterguns in this one.
Yes, we're a bit short on them at the moment.
Yeah. And I have two different theories. I haven't got any confirmation on it, but we'll get more on that on BP next week. The following week, we have the raid. We have a Punisher 600 level top target. So you can still use your Punisher if your Zealots don't meet the fifth to build. Then we have VXP weekend, not really for the Zealot for most people. And then we have the Tier 9 Assault TLC, which I think we're also getting next week. So
that might have some weapons.
I love that.
Yeah, but I think I might have put things out of order, but there's also a TLC that's happening next week that I think might have some limited weapons in it as well, at least if we go according to history. But what we're seeing here is a 3-week FM cycle as far as planning in regards to tokens and time until the next raid as far as what you're going to do. Followed up by June, we still have Riots and Praetorians in the Pillage event. The raid is for Zealots. The Punisher target dropped out, which I guess makes sense. We're going to win the Mutineer. Could you do one click for the mutineer? So if you think you had problems driving ships at this point, wait till we get the mutineer. And that's followed by skirmish TLC. My guess is going to be limited weapons, tokens, whatnot for the mutineer, and probably the weapon and special that were available in the raid. And then a special activity for the Zealot and Pegasus. But this implies, because we don't see pillage yet, this implies a 4-week FM, which is great. Because we will just got the mutineer in order to build it. So the same thing that we have going on right now. So you'll get the extra tokens and the extra time prior to the raid. So
I love that you added the dates to this.
mhm.
That's really helpful, even though technically I should be able to read week 1, week 2, 3, and 4, but it really helps to see the dates.
Yeah, and there's some other changes that have been made that probably makes things like the number of FM weeks clearer, and there were some other things floating around here. So
Well, this calendar, I'm really glad Kix is doing this. This is a great help. I hope they're listening. Thank you. It really helps us think about the strategy we need in our strategy game and do our planning for it. So thank you.
we're in a 4-week cycle right now, Ben. This is next month. So
this is saying that the May raid will be the next raid where we use our brand zealots will be May 15th, and then the June raid will be looks like hold on.
yeah, these dates are Tuesdays.
So the May raid will be the 13th, and the June raid will be the 10th. And those
Yeah.
are both the second Thursday. There's both the second Wednesday in the month.
Yeah. But as far as 3 and 4 week, I'm not sure what. Okay, so that always happens that way, and sometimes the weeks and the months don't match up. Is that what you're getting at?
I thought a while ago they shifted to always being the second week in the second Wednesday in the month.
Okay.
Although that,
Do you have a calendar? Is I mean, because 6/10s could still be the second Wednesday in the month. I don't have a calendar in front of me.
6-10 is the second Wednesday in the month.
Okay, but the May 13th is also the second Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, so all lines up, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, just going through that, and I don't know. Anything else on the next 2 months? Okay. If not, let's move on. All right, this is BP next week. They have a new format, which is not the single picture. So this is what we have now. The interesting thing about this, I don't really find the Spring Reckoning briefing or Spring Reckoning to be that interesting. I do find the High Seas Heresy time limited campaign to be of interest. My expectations based on past history is there's a pretty good chance that we might see some of the limited weapons, the old weapons, a lot of the same stuff that we just got in the raid, plus potentially some upgrade tokens in the mastery round. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, it goes according, like what we have with Judgment Day right now. So, if they continue the past pattern, that would be what we might expect.
One thing I'll say, Go ahead, Derby.
I was gonna say, quite honestly, I like the old format with just the one picture better. I'm not sure what happened to it, but
They're going for some sort of consolidation on all their announcements. I liked it better because it usually came out during the show, and all I needed to do was copy and paste it into a new slide and not do any formatting to it. So I liked it from that reason. But and it's and I do remember at one point Chris wouldn't do BP next week for like a month because he was waiting for the other assets associated with it, which was that template that they put BP next week in and make an image out of. But yeah, he wouldn't do it for a month, and I was like, why are you not doing this? Well, I'm not really sure what this means, that they've gotten rid of that whole thing. The fact that he won't even do it at that point in time, but who knows? We are going to have next week, we're going to have the spring reckoning briefing. Siege chests, skins, so much more.
The siege chest
I'm
bother
gonna
me.
guess it's not so much more.
There's not usually a lot in the siege chests.
It's the randomness of the prizes, and we hate that. Because there'll probably be some really cool things that we'll never get. Like those people, they get 7-day tokens that I've never seen in my life. And then other people won't get it. So
But it's the whole fun in the game. Come on.
Yeah.
it's fun if you get it. But it's
Oh,
not
the unknown. Remember, that was a Chris statement. The unknown is, whatever.
Yeah, we should write it down. We're getting worse and worse every time.
Yeah, go ahead and get it tattooed on,
Yeah. The unknown is part of the fun. I forget exactly what it was, but maybe we can get him to. Maybe we can get him to pop on at some point and just say it and then leave. So if he actually remembers what he said at that point in time.
I'll tell you what, you get him to pop on and we'll throw unknown things at him and we'll see how much fun it is.
Mm-hmm. So, so I'm hoping, but I don't have a huge amount of confidence in this, is that High Seas Heresy will give us, I'm hoping, 10 of the limited weapons, and then Pillage will give us another 10 to get us up to 40. But the reason I'm not 100% behind that, even though that was the past history, is the fact that we have 2 countermeasure / standard weapons slots in our ships, or at least the ships that we've gotten so far, not including our flagship. So that would leave us at 30. So either High Seas Heresies or Pillage could provide the extra 10. And you may not have the option for 40 of the limited weapons prior to the raid. But I don't know if I'm, like I said, I'm uncertain on what path they're going to take with that. Does it make sense to anybody?
Yeah, that's another wait and see.
Yeah. But historically, prior to the first raid, we've had access to 40 of the limited weapons. So, alrighty. I don't know if we have another slide that's terribly applicable. Let's talk about, I think Bounty's the next slide, right? There we go. Yeah, again, the DNA came back, not half Suntar's father. So how is Bounty treating everybody?
Well, I got up to 90,000 points for 3 gatekeepers. I still need to go hit a couple bases, or if the Kickside employee bases come back, so I can get my last 10,000 points for the weapon, and what other armors or specials I'm still missing.
Yeah, I played for a couple hours because that's all I had, and I was able to get a couple of the new ships. I hope the kick spaces come back because I'd still like to get a trencher, which I haven't got yet. And some
how did you get 60,000 points in a couple hours? I gotta know.
hitting the 95s.
You were able to find them?
Yeah.
They were in short supply.
I was on the I don't know if I want to tell you my little tip or not, but I guess I will. I'll share. Um, and there was a point in the 95s you could just put it on auto, right? And while the ship was autoing, I was out looking for the next 95.
That's smart. There you go.
That's what I did. And I hit as many as I could. But I did try to hit more last night, or I think yesterday. I don't know. The
But-
days blur
But I was,
together.
but I was taking half an hour's damage in the 95. So how did you hit them without getting any damage?
I got damage, but I used, I would hit till I couldn't hit anymore, and then I would use repair tokens. But I can hit a bunch. I used my fleet, and I don't know, I probably took 20 minutes damage on them. Maybe 20, 30 minutes at most. I just kept going fast as I could. And then when I couldn't find any more, I'd come back and repair these tokens and wait for
What were you using for ships?
I used 5 Warhounds and I used the Creeping Death Crew.
Your build must be a lot better than mine. I was taking a lot more damage than that.
I was hustling. I knew I only had a couple hours because, I'm at work. A lot of people are home, which I'm sorry if they're home because they're out of work. But they had time. I didn't have time. Did the best I could in a hurry. I think I did pretty good. I did not try the other targets. Had I had time, I probably would have. But I didn't have time to learn it, and I knew I would get more damage, and I couldn't get as many done. So, but that's what.
Some people were reporting they took their armor off in order to get the instant repair. They literally did better without armor.
They may have. I don't know. I did okay. I would like more though. I mean, I want more points, but I'm not going to go around hitting those little bases right now. I still have an FM to do, and I want to do the Punisher TLC. And
I did what Ben said, 109s for close to map repair, not quite.
That's cool. I didn't try the 109s after I saw you hit this. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a few.
Kenny cured you of that target?
Cured me in the 109s. Although I saw Derpy had it, and he did a little better. And I heard they lowered damage on it, so maybe it wasn't so bad. But
maybe that's the problem with them changing things during. I never tried a 95 after it had the gatekeeper in it. So
right.
So maybe if I had hit it after that,
you'd have been okay. Well, my time was so limited. It's like I don't have time to learn something new. I don't have the time to go in and figure it out, and I don't have time for trial and error. I got a 2-hour window, and that's all I've got. So what am I? But
even the 109s, he must have watched some people and adjusted it.
He must have watched you.
Well, no, if he watched me, he would have been snickering and going, "Okay, I made it." But I managed to get it down to close to map repair.
That's awesome.
Same as Ben was saying, but
I'll have to try. I'll have to try the 109s then.
But
if they come out.
Kenny had to hit about 4 or 5 of them before he could do that without a lot of damage.
Well, I'm hoping they do come out like late tomorrow, so that when I get home from work, I can.
I'm hoping they resurrect them in Saturday and Sunday though, because I need more points.
I would like more points. If I don't get any more, I'm okay. I'll survive.
Knowing them, the 95s and the 109s are not going to be the same when we resurrect if they come back.
I don't know. Last time they did they brought things back. The only thing that changed was the level number. Like the 109 was renamed the 108 or something, and they kept everything. The target's the same last bounty, so. But
this one they changed during the bounty 1 hour to the next. Like sometimes they had ships, sometimes they didn't.
What's annoying? I mean, I start bounty early to get the employee bases, and then I'm not playing bounty since, but I'm still getting hit because people are still flattening me. So I'm losing res. I'm losing
the guard fleet, coin the gatekeepers.
I can't. I wish I could, but
I
I'm
am
very,
happy I'm finally stopping Warhounds. It took me so many different changes, and I finally can stop them.
well. I keep.
Actually, I died in a base using 5 Warhounds when the base had no guard fleet.
Wow.
So don't take. I don't know what it was, but
I
Yeah.
haven't been working on my base because this PvP change was coming. So it's like, why bother? Spend all that time when I'll just have to change it in a month. And then it got delayed. And then it got
But
delayed.
that's one of the chores that I actually enjoy, though. I like changing my base every time I'm hit to adjust to the new situation. Because at
I'm
least
hit,
that's actually the game, right? I mean, that was the game 8 years ago.
and I was fine. I was I was the same way until the Warhounds, and it was like pointless
Don't
for
give up on
for
that.
so long.
There is ways to stop them now.
I know there's ways, and I kind of don't want. I wish I hadn't given up, but it's hard to find the time. You can't apply your changes while you're dead, and unless I catch it right, I can't apply my changes in time.
Oh yeah, definitely you can't during bounty. I got lucky now, and I'm applying some now for the first time.
Yeah,
But
so I'll work on it. I'm kind of getting excited about the PvP changes in a way. In a way, I'm
well,
not.
I'm
I,
not, only because the Warhounds usually do it in one pass anyway, so it's not going to change anything.
right, and yeah, I've just got to make sure that if I do a timeout base, that they can't just split their fleets up and one Warhound wipes me out in every quarter or whatever. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to the changes, but at the same time, I'm not because they scare me. Any big changes are a little scary. So we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. I think I like paper towel pictures better. What do y'all think?
I don't know. Half Centaur looks pretty good there.
He just scares the living crap out of me. I don't like that picture at all.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah,
All right.
well, I guess maybe he's been in one of my nightmares or something. I don't know, but
It's the mullet. It's the mullet attack. Attack of the mullet. They need a mullet ship, and they need a tiger skin.
Yeah. Well, if Joe Exotic was actually somehow bounty related, I would throw up there. And we need to be on channel 31, but all good. You guys all talked out on bounty?
Pretty much.
yep.
Okay. And Ben's, I think what Ben is subtly recommending is that if the kickside bases are alive and you have one of the participants, you can go to DN Kicks to see the Alliance, to see some of them, not all of them. If you go in and kill their guard and kill their base, you'll see an easier target. I think that's what Ben's implying here. Let's go to slide, I think slide 12. All right, this is one of the VXP targets. I think this is the 101. I think, was it last Wednesday's show, Derpy? You were mentioning that you were seeing certain missiles were showing an odd behavior, but you weren't certain in your video that you did.
Yeah. So what I thought, and I'm not sure about this, is that the Halo missiles were, which by the way, evade does work against those. So
Okay.
I was wrong on one thing. Evade does work against those things.
Okay.
Even though it looks like it still hits, the retreat button doesn't flash. And well, I thought the Halo missiles appeared to not always be targeting the closest ship. It looked like if I parked two ships a little bit close and a little bit one further away, it looked like it always targeted the ship with the highest health.
Okay.
Now, I didn't notice anyone else seeing that. We can't test those anymore.
Yeah, that was part of what I was bringing up, is the fact that we. But go ahead. Yeah, I see what you're cooking there. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, so I was saying it feels like they might hit the ship with the highest health.
But my point was the fact that we were given these VXP targets with the complete inability to put the proper engine on them, even if you coined your ass off.
You can get two ships maybe with an engine on it.
Yeah, but you couldn't have a fleet with, more than that. As far as trying to figure out some of the dynamics of how this works, I guess 2 might have been okay. But I would like to see them released in some way prior to the raid, maybe, in some limited fashion, maybe around pillage week. Because I still have a lot of decisions to go on my build, because if these missiles target normally, all of them, where they aim at the first ship, personally, I don't see a reason to put evade or missile armor on anything but what would be my front ship, which would be the flag, and I have not seen the flag yet.
I agree on almost all of that. I was seeing, and Ron was seeing too, it hit the first ship and the last ship in the fleet.
Mm-hmm. But that's probably because you were turning around, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving around in here. I don't know how you could do it with just one evade ship.
Well, if we look at this, we have basically 3 things that are accuracy based. We have the Halo, the Sentinel, and the Atlas in this target, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get your choice, right, as far as how you interact with the Halo and the Sentinel, as far as what direction you're going. The Atlas moves, so yes, you may have some issues with that, but as far as the turrets go, you have your option on, you don't, on how you interact with them, right? Basically, does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying? As far as,
yeah, I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah. So the Atlas is the sort of the wild card, because it does move. You're going to have other things moving around it. The Apollos are the other ship here, which are fairly easy to kill. And I'm hoping once the point in time that we have a full fleet, that you could either 1 or 2 shot them and they're dead. With a full fleet ranked up with all the proper specials, if they're anything close to what we saw in the VXP targets.
If indeed the missiles target the highest health ship, that stands to reason that's probably going to be the flag, isn't it?
Well, it's the one that has the highest percentage health.
Well, assuming we know anything about the flag. I don't know anything about the flag.
No, but just going by previous versions, the flag's always got a little bit more health than any of the other ships.
Yeah. Yeah, it has the highest initial health. So yeah, that is something. So I don't know, because I'm just trying to figure out how to build these as far as evade and armors. and I still have a lot of questions associated with the flag, because I haven't put any countermeasure specials on any of my ships yet, because I'm waiting to see what the flag looks like. If we can put 4 countermeasures on that, or 5 or 6 or whatever, I may just try to build out the rest of the ships all weapons and damaged.
Whatever happened to the Kicks test bases or test server? That hasn't had a run in, God knows, a couple of years probably.
Oh, they have. It's a play server, and they have people that do it, but they're a secret group, so it's not open to the public.
Yes. Yeah, which is a bone of contention with, because they do allude to that with, the PvP post that was put out. I think I'm pretty sure they're still active, because they do talk about they've done this because of testing and that because of testing. What do they call it? The play server or whatever it is. So yeah.
Yeah, but it'd be good if we could go back to the old days where you could actually get a few different players in there that weren't sworn to secrecy to get some information out there.
Yeah, and Nathan's right. It's hard to make weight with all absolvers, but the big question I have is as far as how you use the specials. If I wanted to load up, let's say I wanted to load my flag up with countermeasures, countermeasures, and put 4 or 5 on there. That's the only one I need to put the countermeasure special on, and then I could increase my damage or increase something else for those other ships. But again, we're all just speculating here because we don't really know. We haven't seen a strategy guide besides Derpy, and but we haven't seen one from Kixeye yet. So that was more my. Let's go to the next one as far as. All right, and here's the 107, where basically the only missiles are coming out of turrets, right? The Apollos are firing scatter guns. The Valkyries are firing scatter guns, and the Warbird carrier is firing scatter guns. So you have your options as far as how you approach the target and how you approach the accuracy-based and countermeasurable target, so to speak.
Yeah, one option I was looking at is just going all 4 D5 EV armor and then 10 scatter guns, no countermeasures, because that fits, and you have really high evade. That's that. I don't know. Last time we went with a high evade build, we all got screwed.
Yeah, and they got a lot of pushback on that, and they said they were going to, change things, but could be like your girlfriend when you were 18, and I'm going to change my ways, and but it's hard to tell if they're going to change their ways as far as jerking us around as far as the mechanics go. We still have not seen a strategy guide out for this upcoming raid as far as the zealots go. So
Well, they've never put the strategy guide out more than a day before, so.
And they haven't promised to do that either, have they?
Again, like the 18-year-old girlfriend, it doesn't make it right, but that's
Correct.
what they. So I'm more speaking about what's correct as opposed to, and best as opposed to what history has been as far as some of these things.
I think that our safest bet is going with an inside the box build idea.
Yeah, because they appear to want you to stack. and they appear to want you to put 2 countermeasures on each ship. I'm assuming countermeasure specials on each ship, and I'm assuming evade on each ship.
I don't know. I'm sort of thinking evade on ships 1 and 5 and countermeasures on 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and then you're adding in the
Conquest
battery.
Which will hopefully be in pillage.
I have 10 of them. I never built one. I never used one, so yeah. I'm assuming they'd be in pillage. And they were in the raid though, weren't they?
Yeah, I managed to pick up the 3 that I thought I need if I want to go 5 on everything. I got 3 in the raid.
So,
I didn't have it in me to get 5 million more points.
And I didn't notice until too late.
And you can refit them off your Saturns or scrap your Saturns if you upload it on there. The corrosive battery is what we're talking about, not the penetrative one.
That's what I thought too. I do have my Saturn fleet still.
Oh, I forgot that was on
And you
there.
got a free kicks Saturn fleet as well, so you should have extra numbers.
It didn't have the battery on the free fleet.
Ah, right.
I checked already. But yeah, I can melt down my Saturns. I probably keep the flag, but I don't really want to do that. But I will. I can.
I mean, it's the Saturn. I mean, besides the flag, the Saturn is pretty old news at this point.
Yeah, but it's good backup for getting some res.
Well, so for building, you have the Pegasus, and now you're building the next generation of assault.
True.
So
I use the Saturns for titanium.
Yeah. Well, but you can also use the Pegasus and just auto and blind. And you can also use just the flag and auto and blind and get instant repair on the map.
Oh, I did ask, I think Kickstart Alien is the one designing these targets.
Mm-hmm.
He said sprints are intended to not work. Basically, just use Missile Defense System 3.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go multi-form anti-missile. It doesn't reload fast enough. It gets overwhelmed.
Well, what's the use of having sprints if they're not going to let you use them?
Sprints don't work.
Yeah, I know. I found that out. I found that out in the VXP when I tried them.
Yeah, and so we're just supposed to go Missile Defense System 3. I think sprints. I don't like it that they don't work because the blueprint says it works against. The blueprint says
exactly. I think it's more the fact of the secondary missile effect on them. They don't like you doing some penetrative damage, maybe.
Oh, well, you're doing penetrative damage like. I mean, take a look at the numbers, and you'll realize you're not really doing anything. I mean, it's was it tier 6 or tier 7? Tier 7, the multiform. Yeah, you're not really doing enough damage to really. And then you would have to put specials on in order to make them do damage. I don't think it's the missile damage that they're afraid of, to be honest. They don't really do enough damage to, make it any bit of concern. You could probably spend hours trying to take down these targets with multiform missiles. Unless you've seen something different than I'm sorry.
Oh, well, they didn't work, so you couldn't tell.
Yeah. Yeah, the multiform is interesting that you can increase them with the multi-shot. But again, like Derpy said, then what is it, a 12-second reload?
Something like that.
Yeah, the reload's pretty long on the anti, so it really depends on. I think probably even with this the 107 target, where you can pick how you attack the target. You have a lot of overlapping. The Sentinels have a really long range. The halos outrange you, so you're going to get fired upon by 3 or 4 of these at the same time. So, yeah, the missile defense system seems like a much better way to go. Yeah, Nathan, are you just talking about the Sentinels, or are you talking about the halos as well? The halos are the blue ones with the sort of arcing missile.
Yep. None of my antis ever fired at the halos.
Yeah, so it's just the Sentinels. Which are the Sentinels doing that much damage?
Not especially,
Yeah.
but if you do, they don't have enough countermeasure evade. So if you go for a single ship with countermeasure loader 4 and 2 MDS-3, that's enough to take down all the missiles from the Sentinels.
So you only need 2 countermeasures?
No, because you need if you have a lot of Sentinel missiles shooting at you, or you have the Atlas carriers. My plan is to go with 3 ships that have 2 missile defense system 3s and a countermeasure special, and then 2 ships that don't have any countermeasure buffs but still have one of the MDS-3 because of weight.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nathan, we're talking about, we call them halos because they look like halos. The halos merged at the end, but they were also dumbfire. So there's like a whole, they just keep on reusing the same artwork again and again. So, it's just easier to call them by what they look like. So,
And I should at least change their color or something.
yeah. Yeah, but that's the peg. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Multiform did better than MDS-3 on my flag Pegasus. And I know, Derpy, you originally went with Multiform on your Pegasus, right? And then you changed back to MDS-3. If I
don't remember what I have on there. I might have changed back a second time, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, because I do recall you went multiform, and then you ended up with MDS-3. I'm not sure if it was a change in the targets or a change in your approach, but I do recall that at one point in time.
This game happened so fast. I don't know how you can remember anything. It's like you can't get your head wrapped around the current stuff till the new one comes along.
I don't know. But we are, we pretty much have, I think in your, basically we have 4 specials that, as far as anybody out there wondering, and same thing we've talked about on previous weeks, there's 4 specials that we all agree are not required, but the best thing that, with current knowledge is the ancient sacred whatever engine, the twin fang feeder, the full choke, and then the high volatility cartridge.
Yep. Some people are still trying to argue for lower corrosive mount 2 instead, but
and what does lower corrosive mount 2 do? Does it change the range or change the speed? It usually takes a pretty big chunk.
There's a debuff on the speed, I think, isn't it? Minus 20.
Yeah, there's a debuff on the speed.
Plus also range.
There's a debuff on the speed. I don't think it changes the range, but it does give you a bunch of countermeasure, or gives you a bunch of survival.
Okay.
And then lower penetrative mount will just slow you down and give you even more survival and a little bit of evade.
But that doesn't work with one of the other specials, doesn't it? It sort of chops out one of them.
He's saying it doesn't stack with something we've talked about. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So, and the reason I brought it up was, just to get everybody to understand what we agree on, and some of the areas that are where we don't know what's going on yet. Especially what's going on with the flag. If there are some weird things with the targeting. And also, I would love, like I said, I would love to see, even if the targets don't give you anything, if they throw these targets back out on the map in some point in the next week or two, so people could get a better idea of the mechanics of this target.
I wish they'd put him in the arena or something so we could play.
Yeah, they would make money off these targets if they stuck them on the map with no reward.
Yeah. They just paid out resources. Make them like a Savage 75. People would still hit them. So, and take damage on them, but yeah. So, is there anything else that we've missed?
Can't think of anything else.
All right. Put the link on the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join and bring up a new topic or ask new questions on a current topic. Or, I don't know. We might just wind up for the evening unless we, I don't know. Is there anything you want to hit, Kenny?
No, if the kick spaces were still here, we might try some of the tactics we've been talking about, but there's nothing really too interesting to try right now.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, if nobody has anything else and nobody wants to join from chat, what are the chances of seeing another special like a new battery?
Next month?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think we're getting anything new in Pillage besides the flagship.
yeah, but we do have. The only way I would put credence in that is that we do have 4 weeks this time, but Pillage is still the week before the raid, so you don't have a lot of time to adjust. So I wouldn't put it. If it was a 3-week cycle, I would say 98% no. But because we have an extra week in the whole thing, I would add another 7 or 8%, so 92%.
So next week is what? This week's bounty. What's next week? Is that the Spring Reckoning?
Spring and the No. It's the well, let's go back to all right. Next week is Pillage, and then one more click to BP next week. Yeah. We have the Spring Reckoning, and we also have, like I said before, a High Seas Heresy, which is a Zealot and Pegasus TLC, which where I expect to see additional weapons, upgrade kits, upgrade tokens, build tokens, stuff like that. That's what I'm looking forward to is the High Seas Heresy.
Okay, so next week is Spring Reckoning / TLC, and the week after that's Pillage.
Yes.
So I need to spend my tokens this week on something. If I've got tokens.
No, because you're saving your tokens for Pillage. You're not saving your tokens for the raid. So you need to save this week.
Yeah, because you got to build your flag.
Yeah, because you can still do Pillage, earn it, then do the FM, and now you have 3 weeks of FM tokens in order to get your flag done.
There we go.
Yeah. That's why I get the big box. So yeah, the timing is just the timing is you do you do pillage, you earn the flag, and then you do the FM after you've earned the flag and you started building it, and now you got just a shitload of tokens in order to build the flag. So
I haven't coined my gatekeeper yet, and I'm not going to. So.
Well, that might not be worth it either.
Well, TSM put a video out. Was it yesterday or today? It seemed to be working pretty well for him.
Well, it didn't do much in my base. But maybe that was because I forgot to rank it. But
rank is always huge. I mean, I just want to bring this up. Ranking a ship increases the reload by 400%. And if you have a multi-shot weapon or a single salvo weapon, you're increasing the damage. It's like you're turning one ship into four. It's a broken mechanic, and it's been broken for 7 or 8 years, but it'll make a world of difference.
Yeah, but I was more concerned about the repair facility on it. That just didn't seem to be doing much. So I don't know whether that sort of works on the ranking as well, but I thought that was just a static figure. But I didn't actually see off the replay that it was actually doing anything with respect to repairing. It just got, it was near 2 gates and the gates just died.
Yeah. That's going to be the tricky part about it, because if you have somebody that's targeting the gate, it doesn't resurrect, but it will heal.
Oh yeah, but it didn't seem to be working as well as what it was working in the kick spaces. You could really see it, particularly because I was hitting 119s and 142s with basilics. So you could actually see the red go down and then go back up as the mortars and that were hitting.
Okay.
But certainly it didn't when a couple of warhounds hit the gates in my base. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I know Lady Cat's seen the video with TSM put out. TSM plays as far as YouTube. He put out a video today or yesterday, I forget. It was healing for him. And Derpy, have you seen it as well?
Yeah, I saw his.
Yeah, but he only had one. He only had one. So
yeah, I've only got one. I'm not coining anymore.
Yeah,
that's more than enough.
But what were you gonna say, Derpy?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of these, and if you can't heal more than a warhound fleet can kill with just one, not even with 2, really, probably not even 3.
But you can. I think it's more, at least from what I saw, it's more about healing what's around. If they target one thing as splash or whatnot, yeah.
From what I understand, it's supposed to heal about four buildings or four things around it. It's got the potential to heal. Anything more than that, you're wasting your time.
Yes, and it'll heal 2 million per. Excuse me. It'll heal 2 million every 0.2 seconds. But a lot of these fleets are putting out way more damage than that. So that's the issue of how do you situate things so they're forcing fleets to fire at multiple things, not concentrate their fire at one thing. I think that's more what they had in mind when they developed this. If that makes sense, that if there's only one thing for them to fire at, not things at equidistance. I don't know. Does that make sense to anybody? Well, nobody here has one in, so we've only seen things on the YouTubes and the interwebs. So I don't know. But it seems to be, I don't know. It seems to be somewhat effective at this point. I'm sure somebody's going to find a cure for it.
Well, I put sonar on one of my warhounds just to clean them up in the kick spaces.
And that's working well?
That worked pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to see them before you get to them, so at least your depth charge start firing, so you nearly killed them before you get to them. Because you only needed the sonar on one.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go to slide 9, Lady Cat?
Oh, hold on. I got a reply back from Alien. He said that the reverse priority targeting thing I mentioned is intended, at least in one of these targets, on when they originally had them out. It might change before raid, but it might not. So you probably still need. I don't know. That might change my build around. So I'm not crazy.
Okay, so it was aiming at the strongest ship each time, is what you're saying. At least on one of the targets and with one of the turrets.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, that does change things because you can't really run a tank out that way. Well, how does everybody feel that priority targeting is working at this point in time? Does it the highest percentage health, the highest actual health, or the highest original health, or how has that been working?
I'd say it'd be the current highest health, wouldn't it?
They do some funky things. I gave up.
Because the corrosive stuff is always going to even out if you're driving stacked, isn't it?
Well, I wasn't planning to drive them stacked. I was planning because I was trying to at least put the flag out there a little ahead of time, assuming the flag is appropriate for that, because you only have a 16 range associated with the aura, but you also have, in addition to that, you have the combat boost associated with it. So if you have them following each other, it's +2 per ship, and if you have the flag with the 4 behind it, you got a +8% boost when it's within that range, and then when it gets out of the range, it's losing that, so it's going to fall back in line. So yeah, that part's tricky. But yeah, what I was showing before, I'm assuming you're intentionally screen sharing, Drippy, right?
Yeah, I was looking for things to hit, and Half Centaur's base popped up in the locator, so I didn't even try to look for this one.
There we go. So if everybody wants to go hit 109s in a couple of minutes, in theory, if he doesn't have ships in it right now,
and the 109s also aren't out because they aren't.
So you found his actual base?
I found his actual base in the locator.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
by the way,
he might be. If it pops back up on Saturday, everybody should hit it. Just make sure he doesn't have the fleet set, right?
That sounds like presidential harassment to me.
Right.
Have you noticed though? Has anybody been hitting the ones with the gatekeeper and watching some weird behavior on it? Define weird, they say. Okay.
Well, I haven't said it yet, but the voices in your head, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, it was firing at me underwater. It's not supposed to.
Yellow projectiles.
If it has torpedoes on it, it can.
Torpedoes or
That
depth
works.
charges?
No. It's the
Torpedo.
dynamic they described was that it heals when it's underwater and it fires when it's above water, but it'll fire and heal, even though that's not in the
It
description.
won't fire scatter guns, but if you put
Yeah.
torpedoes on it, it will fire the torpedoes while it's underwater.
Right, and
No,
his did.
This
Right.
didn't look like they were torpedoes, though.
Torpedoes or
Like
depth charges? The yellow things that come out from
Yeah,
it?
they look
Yeah.
like they were surface.
But that's not. I just wanted.
on the
I'm not
surface.
saying it's because it's broken. I'm just saying it's not the way it describes it. It described it as firing when it's on above water and healing when it's below, but it'll heal and fire if you're.
Yeah, well, some of them didn't even do anything when they were surfaced.
Oh, I didn't notice it not firing when it was surface, but I did notice that the only counter to it was to stay out of its range and wait for it to come up.
Well, I didn't think they were actually doing any damage.
Oh no, they were hurting, but not terribly.
I remember seeing in the forums that question was asked, and they said, yeah, if you put a different weapon on it, it would fire underwater.
Which is not fair to, well, Kick's fair.
Well, I don't think, did we talk about that last show? And Hefe said there wasn't an underwater weapon that would do as much damage as the scatter guns. Pretty
Yeah.
sure.
I'm
Pretty sure we
I'm
talked
sure it was
about that.
mentioned, but I didn't think just the way it was described that it would fire, that it would change its firing mechanism, but evidently it does. In other words, it'll fire all the time if it can, and heal only when it's underwater,
Right.
which isn't quite the way they described it, but
Well, that's true. That's true. That part is confusing. I agree.
just wanted to point that out for anybody that I was watching all this fire coming out from underneath the water, and I haven't hit too many lurkers, so I'm not used to that. And I'm like, why is it firing at me?
Because it's you.
But is there a way to
Kevin.
can we hit it underwater? Like if we have sonar or whatever on one of the ships?
I
Well,
don't.
if you park yourself right on top of it, you can hit it. If your torpedo on your Warhound does, not your torpedo, your scatter gun, if it does underwater damage, you can hit it underwater if you detect it.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I put sonar on one of my warhounds.
My game froze.
Nice demo.
I hit Half Sundar's base and it breaks my game.
Yeah.
He knew you were coming.
Yeah,
At least
he's
it did
watching
secure.
the show. I think I have a couple. Maybe one of those is a mail from him. I'm not sure.
That's funny. Every once in a while we demo the crashes. A couple times Kenny was dying in starting the target, so that was a nice demo too.
Well, that's a sampling of real life.
Yeah, I hope they do watch the show because that's frustrating. Not as frustrating coming out of a target as it is going into it.
Yeah. The worst thing is to crash going in, and then by the time you get back, your fleet's dead.
Well, the funny thing was I had a shockwave crash on Flash yesterday, and that's the first time Flash has actually crashed for me for months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I have not had a flash crash in a very long time.
But both of them were playing up, so I think they've still got a fair bit of work to do.
Yeah, I tried switching because I think we should. But the first thing it did was go to a black screen when I started a target.
Yeah, well, a lot of times when I went into the targets with HTML5, the yellow slowdown pool that you get from the outposts, that wasn't even turning up on HTML5. You could see it fire, but you didn't get the yellow splash around your fleet.
Did you have all your
Yep.
effect turned on? Okay.
Yep, the only effect I have turned off are the clouds.
Okay. And hopefully they still realize that the clouds are the ones on the map. So
Yeah, well, they used to cause horrible lag, so I don't think anyone ever played with them on.
All right. According to Mitchell, Derpy made Half Centaur leave.
He's still here.
Okay. Well, Mitchell, I don't know. We got conflicting news here. So, the reason I asked Lady Cat to put up the gatekeeper is park all three behind the last gate. Some, three, the previous ones talk about three gatekeepers. It only has an aura cap of 1, so it should only. Does anybody would see how this would work?
You can have
them wherever you want, but it'll only heal for 4 buildings.
I think you can have 3 gatekeepers healing 1 building.
But what does a duplicate aura cap of 1 mean?
I don't know. In the kick, from what I'm seeing, it looks like the Kickstarter employee bases when I was hitting those portals that had a gatekeeper on either side were taking way longer to kill than a gatekeeper with just 1.
Yeah, but it says number of targets 4. So if you've got them all in the one sort of area, probably they'll pick the same 4 targets to heal.
But my main point is that the duplicate aura cap of 1, which doesn't appear to be
won't stack with anything else, probably.
No, it means you could only put 1 of these auras on an object at any point in time. So it appears that this is inaccurate from what we're hearing back. That's what that mean or should mean, is that the aura cap of 1 means you can only have 1 ship healing 1.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't pick the same building and then go, oh, there's nothing for me to do.
What I'm noticing happen in game is that 2 gatekeepers can heal the same building.
Yeah, I was saying that.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. This aura cap of 1 appears not to be accurate.
But the thing is, with kick spaces, though, they do things that we can't.
Yeah,
I don't think so in this case. I think it's just wrong. But that's what it implies, is that 1 building can only be affected by 1 aura.
Yeah. That's the implication by, yeah, it could be 5, So.
But what it's ambiguous is, does that mean, why is there it says number of targets 4. So that's why it says, but once there's a 5th target, is it a duplicate aura anymore? Or is the second ship now capable of healing the 5th one that's not being impacted by the aura? That's the open question.
Or by the second aura. Yeah, that's the way it should work. Yeah, that's the way it should work according to the way this is written. That if you have 5 targets that are damaged below the 85%, that if you had 2 of them, the second ship would pick up 5, 6, 7, and 8. But you shouldn't, according to the way the blueprint is written, and my understanding of the way blueprints are written in regards to the aura cap, this shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be having multiple gatekeepers. Again, I'm not saying it's right as far as the game goes, but I'm saying it's the way the blueprint is written. You shouldn't have multiple gatekeepers healing the same building.
Well, let's hope they fix the blueprint and don't nerf the ship.
Actually, it would be a game-breaking moment if you could get 5 of these things all on the OP, and they're submerged and hard to see. It could be very bad if it didn't work the way they described.
You'd be able to kill the ships if you can get there. So
yeah,
you can do interesting things like stop the basilisks. If you have 3 gatekeepers healing the outpost, you can stop it from being sniped by a basilisk fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Because that just doesn't do enough damage. I need to come around the other way to get to kill the gatekeepers.
that probably won't be an issue with the new PvP.
Yeah, because by the time they killed they need to kill all the warehouses, the
Great Hall, Radio Tower.
warehouses, OP, all it needs to be killed. So sniping it out by a basilisk in 5 minutes might be difficult.
Well, that's the thing. Are they going to stick with the 5-minute base hit time, or are they going to increase that because you only get the one chance?
Yeah.
Well, if you coin it, you get another chance right after. That's the 5 minutes to try again.
You try again, but everything's killed.
Yeah, you've got to kill it in one go. Otherwise, if you don't, the base completely heals or heals back to whatever state it was in before you attacked. So it's a one shot or else. Or at least that's what they're suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they've fixed the medals. I reckon they should start that completely from scratch.
Yeah, or do away with them. But either way. But it is fun to see all these people get upset about them. So,
yeah, well, that's why I reckon they should reset everyone back to 0 and you start with a clean slate.
So, Mitchell's still disagreeing with you, Derpy, on the where Half Centaur is.
I think someone else might have stolen his name.
I don't know.
I don't
Didn't
know.
you see
Maybe
on
he's
the-
been cloned. Maybe he's in more than one place.
Yeah.
In
Who
the
knows?
last show, didn't I locate his base through the DNKX Alliance like you told me to?
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the same world I am now, which is not Alpha.
So there we go. I don't know what to say. Maybe we'll get him to come on the show and tell him where, tell everybody where he is.
Tell him Bounty Hunter is not his father.
That's going to come as tough news to him because, I'm not sure if he thought that was a good idea or a bad idea that Dwayne was his dad. But, yeah, it's going to be, So we did get an announcement, and the announcement is... Oh, okay.
What's the announcement?
He's live. No, it was just BP Next was live, so I saw it before that. So I don't know. Is there anything else we should be discussing?
Crickets.
All right. If not, Kenny moved spots somehow. I'm not sure how that happened, but I posted a link in case anybody would like to join the after show. And we'll see you all Wednesday, I guess, if not before. And hopefully we have another encounter with the next assault targets that we're about to see. So, all right.
Good night, everybody.
Yep, good night.
Later, people.
See you later.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.